Often in our being overwhelmed, as we should be, by all of the uglinesses in the world, we forget that there is also a great deal of good. And you represent that. Fantastic human beings who care and want to see our earth home, the only one we have, be hospitable to all of its inhabitants. And so I want to clap you because you are just fantastic human beings, but join me in clapping you. Thank you for coming, but especially thank you to those who come from long distances and who are coming to share their anguish with you, sharing it knowing that you are people who will respond appropriately. There are all kinds of competing voices in this beautiful city. All of us are seeking to be heard. Wherever you turn, wherever you walk, you're going to hear people from every country on earth. And all have one shared simple goal: persuading others to listen. Listen to their story. Listen to what they have to tell, and having listened, to act appropriately. Amid all of this glamour, all this cacophony, it is really the voices of those wonderful people and others, people who are already living on the front line of climate change, people who understand the reality of our changing world better than anyone else. They are the ones to be listened to closely. It is their voices that cannot be ignored. Their voices that must be heard. Their voices that must be heeded. Their voices that have to be acted upon. So thank you again for being here. This hearing sounds almost like an oxymoron. This hearing is about listen. You've traveled to this beautiful city, sharing your experiences, your stories. And we hope, that you will have this opportunity to do exactly that, tell us your story. It is the climax of a much longer journey, an epic journey that has spanned the globe in 2009. The first climate hearing took place earlier this year in Bangladesh. Since then, more than 1.5 million people have come together at similar events in 36 countries. Let's put that into context. It means that more people that live in urban Copenhagen have taken the time not simply to sign a petition or to click a button on a website, but to travel, in some cases, very many miles to participate in climate hearings. It means that more people that live in urban Copenhagen have taken time out of their lives to take action, to meet with others, to share their concerns, to discuss potential solutions. It means that more people than live in urban Copenhagen are already all too aware of the destructive and pernicious impact of climate change, but are refusing to stay silent. And you are amplifying their voices. You really are fantastic human beings. I have a hotline, as you know. I have a hotline, and I have been told to communicate with you approval from the celestial quarters. But here, quite seriously, this is serious. You're putting a smile on God's face. You're putting a smile on a face that frequently is contorted by tears as God looks at the whole DRC. God looks at Gaza. God looks at Zimbabwe. And God says, what the heck ever got into me that I should create that lot? I mean, just look at what they are up. I mean, they're making an art of just being nasty to each other. And then, God looks down again and sees Copenhagen. Look at those, look at them. In that hearing, Oxfam hearing, and a smile breaks over God's face. You bring a smile on God's face. What we're doing is, you sometimes think, well, it doesn't, it's so minute. It isn't. It isn't. It's the difference between survival and doom. We're in this together. There are all kinds of competing voices. And we are saying the voices of those who are going to testify are the ones that we should not ignore. The 1.5 million people, that's not the whole story. That 1.5 million represent hundreds of millions more people who may not have attended a hearing, but who are also struggling to survive our climate's tightening grip. Your speakers today are every single person for whom the future is becoming a source of fear and uncertainty rather than hope and ambition. They're every single person who has fought to grow enough for their families to eat during the dry months, only to lose everything when rains fell with such ferocity that every seed was washed away. And you will hear similar kinds of stories